Um, but you were saying about conflict. Oh yeah. So, but that's a great point. So we drop these bombs on them. They send rockets at our base, Israel, whatever. Tel Aviv gets rockets flying at Tel Aviv. Is nobody thinking about the fact that nothing's actually happening, but things are happening, and people are claiming these as wins? So, like you said, the bunkers that got busted, the nuclear facilities, Israel had bombed the one of them earlier in the year. And so, what do you think that these people? You're always hero, brother. Do you think these Iranians just left everything in these nuclear facilities after that one got bombed by Israel? So now it's coming out that they don't even know if this shit was in there.
They probably dug deeper. They said, "Oh, we got to go deeper now."
Yeah, the El Chapo style. They're just going deeper, different tunnels, whatever. And then the rockets that were hitting Tel Aviv, you see these videos of these rockets just boom, 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 hitting Tel Aviv, highly populated city in Israel. There's not like thousands of deaths or a bunch of people dying. It was nothing really even came out of anybody dying from those rockets. Yeah, go ahead.
I would say I did see a death toll that was pro mobile and sub dogs. What's going on?
Yeah.
I did see a death toll about 300 Israelis so far and about 700 Iranians. That was just a number that I saw online. Could be complete fabrication, but that's just what I saw.
Total as in throughout the
Like
whole
over a thousand.
conflict?
Yeah.
Okay, but not those actual like rockets that day on Tel Aviv.
No, I don't know about that, but that's just a death toll number that I saw 300 some and then 700 some, so like just over a thousand. Could be, I don't know. I'm not, I have no idea who tweeted that, but that was just something I saw.
Right. So the point was with Tel Aviv is that it wasn't coming out that there's all this death and destruction from these rockets that are hitting Tel Aviv. The U.S. does these bunkers, and then Iran does the U.S. military base, and then there's no casualties, nobody gets hurt. Like nothing actually happened. Not like when you look back at it. So then you have to stop and think, okay, well, who's to say that these governments aren't all in cahoots with each other?
Oh, they are for sure.
Absolutely.
They're calling each other ahead of time.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I know you guys just dropped the bunker busters on us, made us look bad. Give us an opportunity to look good. Let's go ahead and send some rockets at your base. We're not going to touch it. Nobody's going to die. Nothing's going to happen. But we just want to make it look like we attacked you. Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Well, it's funny you say that because Trump did a news conference. I don't know, maybe last year when he was running, and they asked him about when he killed that general Soleimani, and they said Iran retaliated. He's like, yeah, they called me and they said, hey, we have to retaliate because you just killed our top general. We're not going to hit the target, but we're going to send rockets that way. He's like, it's just a way that they have to project power to their people and say, hey, like, listen, they hit us. We still have to like look kind of tough, not look like a bunch of pussies sitting here taking rockets and then not going to respond. So they have to respond of some sort. But like you're saying, it's coordinated. They're like, all right, we're going to send it now. Evacuate all the F-15s, evacuate all the F-22s and your guys, and nothing will actually happen.
Isn't that incredible? That's how the world works. It's all optics. It's all propaganda, perception, because perception is reality. And it makes sense because, like Bobby just said, if you get attacked, missiles killing our top leaders or top generals, and you're the regime in power, and you literally can't do anything to retaliate, can't do anything in return, how quickly do you think your people are going to revolt against you? Because the only reason people give power away to the state, to the government, to the institutions, is if in their minds they believe that these institutions, these governments, these bigger powers are going to protect them and going to take care of them in times like this. Well, as soon as the people don't believe you can do that, then why would they release any of their power, any of their freedoms or liberties to you, right? It's the whole game. It's like you only trust the government or give them money or taxes and authority because you're assuming that they're going to be responsible for you.
Yeah. But that's what I said on my one live stream the other day. It was like, what is like the US dollar backed by? Like, what do US citizens get for their money? They get the US military. That's basically what we get. That's our that's our present for being able to pay our taxes every day. We have this blanket of protection around the globe. You know, you have a U.S. passport, you go into France, you go to Italy, you go to these places, you're protected by the U.S. embassy there, and that's in that country. And that's what we get for our taxes. And so our dollar is backed by our military power. It's backed by our protection that we know we have when we could travel. And even sitting at home in your house, you know, we have, you know, the Golden Dome coming soon. So if someone does decide to shoot a rocket at us towards the homeland, hopefully you have that protection.
Exactly. Yeah. Hopefully. Exactly. So that's the point. And Iran is like these play. I mean, Israel does. Israel has nuclear weapons and a space program and all this shit, and Iran doesn't though. So yeah, you look at it and you say, all right, what are these? What's the game that's actually being played here? Because if you just go for the surface level, the news, what people are saying online, another great example, right? We've talked about in the past how fucking propagandized CNN is. Great example, to be fair to both sides, for Fox News. Fox News becomes incredibly propagandized towards war when times
Yeah.
like this. They did the same thing in 2002 with the Iraq War. Same thing. It's like, oh, they got weapons of ass destruction. They got weapons of they got this, that, and the third. And then what happens? Oh yeah, complete lie. Netanyahu fucking completely lied to the U.S. saying that they were certain they had weapons of mass destruction. They did
In
it.
in a time like this, you actually see the contrast super heavy because CNN is saying, "Oh, the attack didn't work at all. Like the nuclear sites are still there," and then Fox News is like, "Total destruction. It's it's obliterated." Da 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 da. So it's like right here now you can see it's like that's what I was saying in the beginning of the stream. Like, what is the truth? You don't really know because one side's telling you it didn't work, one side's telling you it completely worked to the fullest extent. It's in reality, it's probably somewhere in the middle. They hit the base, it, knocked down maybe the entrance, the exit, and some of the facilities. But we don't know. There's no way to know.
Exactly. Yeah, we're not in there checking the damage. Like, all right, what happened? All right, you just dropped a bomb and hope something happened. So the with the news channels too, a great point that I heard Tucker Carlson making because he works at these news channels. Obviously, he worked at CNN, Fox News, and he's saying how the families, because you have to understand these are private organizations, these news channels and these newspapers. They're owned by families. These are people that own these networks. Where do you think these talking points? Where do you think the propaganda comes from? From the people who own the channels, right? So, for example, the Murdochs, they own Fox News and the what's the one newspaper? Not newspaper, but I forget which one it is. Wall Street Journal, maybe. No, one of those. But what they would do is they're going to send down the talking points to their executive producers, et cetera, the individuals who put together the show, put together the talking points, and then that news anchor, they just get the piece of paper that says, here's what you're talking about today, and that's just what they talk about. So, and they will influence what gets talked about based off of what their interests are. Also, these people who own these news channels, what do you think they're watching in their free time for their news? Their own network. So they want to hear the things that they like, things that they agree with on their network. They're not going to they're not going to own Fox News and then have some liberals come on and say, da 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 da. It's like, no, I don't want to listen to that. So yeah, and then these news networks also own media, or not media, news companies. So then that's why they're all in cahoots with each other. They own the news companies, they own the TV stations. And this is how they get all this information out there. And as soon as you go outside of the talking points or the consensus viewpoint for the left or the right, then you get in trouble. You get your hand slapped. And that's why Tucker Carlson eventually got fired, because he kept asking the questions that they didn't want him to ask on air. So like, all right, get out of here, Tucker. Kick rocks. So yeah.
Yeah, and that's why you also see even the satellite shows like you could have Fox News. I could see the building right on my window. Fox News Tampa Bay is right there. They get the same thing. It's even though it's the local news here, whether it's Fox News New York, Fox News Los Angeles, Dallas, Texas, like wherever it is, they're still going to get kind of the same talking points. You're just going to have different people presenting you the information is basically all it is. They're still it's their network of being able to get information out. But bringing it back to the actual conflict going on, the way that they did it. Did you see the way that the U.S. did it, like with the B-2s, like what the actual optics of the mission were?
In what sense? I mean, yeah, I know they sent B-2 bombers. They flew from Missouri. They diverted the Iranian government's attention with
With the other two, yeah, that's what I say. Two of them flew west, and then seven flew east, and then the seven were just like completely off the radar, just like zipping for 30 some hours. And then even I remember when the news reports came out, there was two B-2s going to Guam, and that's what everybody thought. Okay, they're going from Cali to Guam, and then they're going to do their mission from there. But that was what just people were reporting on, and that's the thing too, is that this was top secret, of course, but they could have been, intentionally reporting on the B-2s that were going to Guam to divert even more attention away. It's like, okay, they might have been on the radar for the military, but now it's like getting people's attention. It's like, oh, there's two B-2s going to Guam. Meanwhile, the other seven are going, on the mission completely the other way. So just the pure optics of it were confusion and, you look this way, but we're going this way. Just insane by the military.
What do you think about that too? Do you really believe that those other B-2s went by completely 100% undetected? Nobody knew about them. Like, do you really think that Iran had no idea about it?
I mean, even if they did, there's no way to stop it, but it's like they're so high up. They're
That's true.
I don't know if what they fly at, but they fly really high because the bombs that they end up dropping, they need so much velocity to get through the earth and the concrete that's in the mountain that they have to be so high up that unless you have satellites, which they probably do, but I don't think they could track them. No, I don't think they could.